Hi, we're here at Blithewold Mansion Gardens and Arboretum in Bristol, Rhode Island on Narragansett Bay. My name is Betsy Ekholm. I'm the Gardens and Greenhouse Manager.
And I'm Gail Reed. I'm the former Gardens and Greenhouse Manager. And today we're going to tell you a little bit about Blithewold. Blithewold first started in 1894 when Augustus Van Wickle and his wife Betsy came to visit Blithewold to purchase it. Augustus had just purchased a steam yacht and needed a place to dock, and this property, which was originally 70 acres, was up for sale. They wanted a country estate, but they wanted gardens, especially Betsy. She was horticulturally minded from her own family growing up in Hazleton, Pennsylvania, and she fell in love with Blithewold right on Narragansett Bay. It already had some mature tree specimens. Betsy concentrated on making the whole property, the mansion and the landscape, harmonious with each other. She didn't want one thing to shine over the other. She wanted it all to fit in with this beautiful surroundings that she already had. And she wanted each garden to be different but flow into each other. She and John DeWolf, who had ties to Bristol but worked at Prospect Park in New York City, designed what you see today.
Blithewold is a 33-acre estate, and we have about 6 different garden areas, and also we have our beautiful greenhouse. Right now we're in the Rose Garden, which is one of 3 gardens we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the Rose Garden, the North Garden, and the Idea Gardens. The Rose Garden historically was a wonderful place. They always had roses here. We know that. We know actually some of the old labels they actually wrote by hand. Currently we have over 60 roses here. We have shrub roses, we have climbing roses, we have dwarf roses, and we just make sure that we have color here all season long, not just during rose season, which is in June, where it's absolutely stunning with all the roses in bloom, but we have color in here starting in April and going all the way through to October. We have tulips, we have ephemeral bulbs, we have early perennials, we have tender perennials and annuals, and we have dahlias and salvias. Things are color through the whole season. This time of year, it's a wonderful place to be here in the Rose Garden because there's so much life here. There's so many bees, there's so much in bloom. There's always hummingbirds around, and we even see rabbits and little chipmunks that come through. We try not to let them do too much damage, but it is always brimming with not only flowers, but life. And we're going to show you a few of those things right now. Right here in this area, we have 3 wonderful August bloomers. The first is this perennial Allium Millennium, which is a reliable bloomer at this time of year. The next is a gladiolus that we actually start in the greenhouse and then we plant out. This is Gladiolus murielii, also known as the peacock gladiolus. And then behind we have a rebloom of our rose Easy Does It, which is always a favorite. And now we're going to head over to the North Garden and see Gail.
Hi, we're in front of the North Garden, and here I'm with our Clerodendron Tritocomum, or the Harlequin Glory Bower. It is our #1 favorite plant in August. It not only is fragrant, but it also attracts hummingbirds and butterflies, especially the yellow swallowtail. This garden, the North Garden, Betsy's vision of creating a formal garden right by the mansion was started in around 1912. Her vision to have this formal garden here and then have the gardens become a little bit more wild as they move away from the mansion was very typical in these garden estates. She hated to leave while it was being created because she was so in love with the way it was turning out, and that she was really happy that they found a place for this North Star. It was a stone star that was in the original mansion, and they were looking for a place to place it facing north, and it's here in the North Garden in the stone wall. Here we have for our August blooms this Glossiobelia, which is beautiful, blooms for right through into September. It started really in late July. We couldn't be without our summer phlox. We love them. They bloom all through August. And we love our tender perennial salvias. This one is Salvia granitica. The hummingbirds adore them. So now let's go meet Betsy in the Idea Garden.
The reason why we call this the Idea Gardens is it's because it's the place where we get to play with a lot of new ideas. So have a garden which we call the Garden of Hope, where we put a lot of things that we would put in our own garden. In the backyard, we have a small tree, we have a lawn alternative in there, we have some of our favorite perennials growing in shrubs, so it's just a really good example garden. And then we have a garden full of really interesting foliage. We have a garden we're in a process of transforming into more of a native garden, and we have an herb garden, and then we have all our specimen container collection, which is here, which is just a wonderful example of like what you can have if you have a glorious glass house, as we do. And we also have a pond and lotus that we grow in pots, which bloom from July through to October and are definitely a visitor favorite. We know that the family always had a cutting garden, and we know it was on this end of the property, but we don't have a lot more records besides that. But we just decided to maintain it and create our own cutting garden here, which we absolutely love. And it's full of annuals that we grow from seed in the greenhouse. It's full of perennials that we split and move around, and it's full of self-sowers that we just allow to come up wherever they do. And we use them for actual cut flowers both in the house and for small events that we have. I hope you enjoyed your virtual visit here today.
And if you have any questions, go to our website where Betsy and I are happy to answer any of them.